all of these town centres is business rates and a lack of coordinated management. That falls on the council. The council needs to get together with the major landowners, landlords of properties, and say we've got to have a proper coordinated plan. The second thing is the business rate scheme is absurd. And our plan is scrap business rates on high streets, for shops and for leisure, for small and medium-sized businesses, replace it with sort of like an online delivery tax, 3 or 4%. That would essentially pay for it, and that would give shops the opportunity, people who want to take a bit of risk again, still get a bit of rent for the owners of the buildings, but we've got to regenerate these town centres. And I'm afraid to say that what you're seeing is far too many barbers' shops opening, and many of those are always empty, and they're actually they're money laundering fronts for the drugs trade, and it's happening all over the country. It's happening here in Boston, it's happening in Skegness, and town after town all over the country. And then you've got candy shops opening up, and this is basically a failure of the authorities, the police and the local authorities, to deal with rampant criminality literally in plain sight on the high street. And then here in Boston, we're going to approach Marketplace. You know, it sort of feels okay thank you very much for your support, thank you. It feels okay in the sunlight, but you come to the evening here and the number of residents of Boston or nearby villages who say it's dangerous, they won't come here at night, it's just not a safe place to be. And I've been here one night, and I have to say there are groups hanging around, drug dealing, looking pretty intimidating, and there's no police to be seen anywhere. And the truth is that the number of properties, houses where I knock on the door and no one speaks a word of English. So just in the last couple of days, I knocked on one door, 7 people live there, pretty small property, Bulgarians. 15-year-old lad was the only one who spoke any English. And I said, so why are you living here? And he said, we prefer Bulgaria. And I said, so why are you here? And he said, the money, the benefits is better, that we can send home. I thought, wow. And then a few doors down, on the same street, family of 5. Only one spoke any English whatsoever, and they're here for the benefits. This is a member of NATO, a member of the European Union, whose people are coming to live in the UK to abuse our generosity, to abuse our benefit system. And it's not surprising that long-standing residents, British citizens, are absolutely furious, raging mad. I mean, seriously. And this is just one example. And I tell you, it is that feeling of abuse of our taxpayers' cash, that something is very wrong. And that's why Reform UK is doing well, because we talk about the difficult stuff. And a lot of people might, listening to this, watching this, might say, bit edgy, Tice. But we've got the courage to tell it as it is, because it's taxpayers' cash.
So I was going to ask you about this because, like, historically, when people they'd point at certain people and they say the reason why there's a slump or the reason why we've got problems in resources is because these people are coming over. But the numbers were much smaller historically. And I think, just to clarify for the public and your view on this, what's your view about migration generally? Is it that it can be of benefit, but it's just the people on the boats that are problematic? Or how do you see that?
Yeah, it's very simple. So in the last 2 years, we've had a net 1.5 million people arrive. And that is mass immigration of a scale that's never been seen in the United Kingdom before, completely contrary to what the Tory government promised. Our view of immigration is smart immigration is a good thing, and highly skilled, highly qualified. I mean, in the 80s and 90s, we had net immigration running at between 20 and 40,000 a year. So not barely discernible. And guess what? We had high economic growth, we had real wage growth, and young British people were getting up, they were working on the farms, they were working in shops, and work paid, and people were getting more prosperous. But since the advent of freedom of movement of the Eastern EU nations, that's when things changed dramatically, and we were sold a lie. And the truth is that we've seen almost no real wage growth for the last 15 years. So I repeat, smart immigration, and the key to immigration is integration. What doesn't work is mass immigration, where people don't learn the language, and you've got a situation now where On the litter bins here in Boston, they're written in the signage on the litter bin is written in 3 different languages. I'm sorry? You've got polling cards written in different languages. With the greatest of respect, if you want immigration to work, people have got to integrate, got to learn the language. And the idea that British taxpayers should have to waste hundreds of millions of pounds every year to pay for translation services, for people in the NHS, for signs on bins, for voting cards, that doesn't work. And that's not working for the British people. And I'm telling you, they are enraged about it.